Hi everyone, it's Alina. I'm back with another video. I'm super excited to be back with you guys and share some cute, cool, fun business tips. Thank you everyone who watched my first video. I'm super excited that I even got any views. I was super surprised. I didn't anticipate a lot of people seeing it because that was my first video, but quite a few people did, and I'm super excited. So I'm back with another video for y'all. I just want to share some tips about getting started with your business. I know when I started my business, it was a lot. There's a lot of information out there, YouTube videos, Google, your friends, whoever. There's a lot of information out there, and for me, it was doing the research on my own and looking at YouTube videos that helped me decide where to start. So the first step in getting your business started is deciding what type of business you want to have. So I'm just going to go over with you the types of businesses that are out there, and then I'll share the two most common ones and then the one I decided to use. So first, there's 5 types of business accounts that you can have. The first type is sole proprietorship, and with the sole proprietorship, it is the owner is the same as the business. That's the easiest way for me to explain to people what it is. I'll go into more detail after I share the other ones. The next is a limited liability company, and that's what I have. And most people know because we see all the memes and all the tweets about getting your own LLC. So that's limited liability company. And the next is cooperative, and cooperative is basically like a partnership. And then finally we have a corporation, and there are, I think, 4 types of corporation. There's a S Corp, a C Corp, and all these other corps. But today I'm gonna focus on the sole proprietorship. Today I'm gonna focus on the sole proprietorship and the LLCs because those are the most common, and really they're the most valuable for small business owners. Sole proprietorship, the most important thing to remember is the business and the person are the same entity. And that's the easiest way to remember the difference between an LLC and a sole proprietorship. So for me, that meant where do I want my liabilities to fall? That's what you want to think about when you're setting up your business account. So with a sole proprietorship, say that you're making hair products and that hair product that you sell makes the consumer's hair fall out. So you have a sole proprietorship, and what's going to happen is those customers can sue you, and once they sue you, they're suing your business, but they're also suing you as a person. So that looks like them, once they clean out the business account, they can take your house, they can take your car, they can take from your personal finances. And for me, that was huge. Like, I want to start a business, but I don't want to lose my livelihood because I mess up. I'm not saying that you're going to make a mistake or your products are going to be faulty and it's going to ruin somebody's life, but when you start a business, you have to take that into consideration. So I decided that I wanted to go with the LLC because if something happens, Lord willing, if something happens to my company, I'm not going down with it. And that's just the easiest way to explain, like, the sole proprietorship in a limited liability corporation. That's what helped me make my decision. I do work at a bank full time. I do have a lot of experience with working with business customers, and the most common account is a sole proprietorship. A lot of people do the sole proprietorship because it only costs, I think, like $25 in North Carolina to start a sole proprietorship, and then for the LLC it's $125. And when it comes to starting a business, cheap is not necessarily the best way. Just because it's less to do the sole proprietorship doesn't mean you should do a sole proprietorship. You really need to take in consideration the liability. Also, for tax purposes, there's a huge difference when it comes to sole proprietorship in the LLC. From my research, you end up having to pay more out in taxes with a LLC versus with a sole proprietorship. But I have not yet filed taxes, so I can't speak to that. I can only speak to my decision making and what made me choose a limited liability corporation. So yeah, sole proprietorship, the person and the business are the same entity. On a limited liability corporation, you are yourself and you have your business. And so if something happens and your company is going to get sued, they can only sue your business assets and they can only take from your business assets. That's so important, so major to remember. So yeah, that's why I have a LLC. So I looked up a few different pros and cons on LLCs and sole proprietorships, and that was the major difference. The startup cost is different for sole proprietorship than the LLC. It's a little bit more expensive, but when you're starting a business, everything's expensive. So you decide which risk you want to take. Next, when I set up my LLC, it was super simple. It was so easy. People make it seem like it's so hard, there's so much to do, but no. Because of the era that we're in, everything is readily accessible. You don't have to go down to the courthouse and do all that extra stuff. At least for myself here in North Carolina, I did not have to. I did everything electronically. So I went to ncsos.gov. I registered my business name, which is super important. You want to make sure that the business name that you decide to go with is an available business. So when I decided my business name, I didn't know that I needed to make sure it was available. So I decided my business name after thinking so far, so hard, so long on what name I would do and for it to have meaning. I went to register it and it wasn't available. So yeah, before you decide you want to choose whatever business name you choose, just make sure it's available, because I had to go back to the drawing boards after that. I had to rethink what my name would be, and for me it wasn't that hard. I'm selling clothes, so I chose 19 because I wanted to look really good in Roman numerals, which is what I use for my business, and I just put fashions on it because I mean it's close. And that was what was available. 19 LLC was already taken, so I had to in turn go with something else. So yeah, that's how my name was established, XIXFashions LLC, because it was available. So I don't want you to run into that same problem when you get ready to start your business up. Make sure your business name is available. Secondly, once I made sure my business name was available, I applied for the LLC. And what that looked like was just me going, printing out some papers, filling out the form, faxing it up, and I think it took about a week or so. They emailed me back and I got an EIN number. So it was that easy. I mean, everything online, everything electronic, fax it up, get my EIN number, and I'm ready to go. All right, so now you have your business registered with your state and you got an EIN number. So where do you go now? The next step for me was to set up my Instagram and set up my Facebook. So at first when I started my business, I didn't really want to sell on Instagram and Facebook only. Like, I didn't start out as only an online store. I wanted to sell the clothes in person. Like, I wanted to go have a kiosk in the mall and have my clothes set up there, but it was not realistic for me. I didn't have very much funding, and when you think about setting up in like a building or a space, like you have to pay a down payment, you have to have equipment to put your stuff up on, you have to pay for licenses if you're gonna do it in a mall, and it was just unrealistic for me. I think I'm 27. I was 25. I had a roommate. I didn't have a lot of money. I think I wanted to spend like $500. So I just was like, okay, I'll just sell my clothes on Instagram. I'll just sell them on Facebook. And if I get successful, then I'll open a store somewhere. So I didn't think about having a website. I don't know a lot of people that open like an online store. I didn't have friends that were trying to do what I do or am doing, so I just went for what I knew. I watched Glamazante, and Glamazante sold all her stuff online, and at first she really didn't talk about having a website, so I just was like, Instagram, Facebook, that's it. So yeah, I went and got my Instagram and my Facebook set up with my business name, and after that, I went to look for vendors. It's nothing complicated with setting up Instagram and Facebook. Like, we all know how it works. Put the business up there, put something in your bio. If you guys need help setting up your bios, I'll make another video about that. But I mean, it wasn't really complicated for me when I started. The next step after that, I got a sales license because I wanted to buy my products wholesale, and I didn't want to use Aliexpress. I didn't want to use Alibaba. I know everybody talks about it. I know a lot of people do it. Like, how that works is they go on Aliexpress, they buy like 20 tops for $7, and they sell them to people for like $10 or $15, and the quality is always trash. Like, I did not want to start a company selling low quality products. Like, I feel like people who do that, their business doesn't last as long. And I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it that way, because there are benefits to starting your company by using AliExpress or Alibaba. Like, the profit margins are a little bit higher, but the risk is higher as well. Like, when you're buying your stuff from AliExpress, you're waiting a month to 2 months for your stuff to come in. When your stuff comes in after that month to 2 months of you waiting, you don't even know what the quality is going to be like. And then you're buying from different vendors everywhere. So I just wanted to have more of an established business, and I wanted it to be quality products, and I wanted them to come from the USA. So I registered myself as my business, and I got a sales license. And the sales license is free once you have your EIN number here in North Carolina. I'm not sure how it works everywhere else, but I know here it's free once you have your EIN number. And that the sales license allows you to register with businesses, wholesale businesses, and it allows you to charge sales tax to your consumers. So if you're gonna start a legitimate business and you want to be legitimate, charge sales taxes, have an EIN, have a sales license, go with legitimate companies. I did all of those things for longevity. Like, I want to start out the right way so I can, in return, give my customers what they deserve, or what I would want to buy as a customer. So once I got my sales license, I just went on the search for some vendors. Like I said earlier, I watched Glamazante's videos, and then I watched a few other people's videos, and they mentioned LA Showroom. And what LA Showroom is it's over like 1,000 vendors on one website hub where you can find wholesalers. And so I spent maybe like a month or so looking through LA Showroom, trying to figure out what type of vendor I wanted to use and where I wanted to get my clothes from. I researched, like I said, for like a month. I wrote down maybe 10 companies, and then I just bought some products. So the only way you're gonna know if the products are quality is if you buy some products. So I bought a blue like pleather dress, and I still have it because I didn't sell very many when I first started. I have a snakeskin neon dress, and I had a like stripe off the shoulder, pink, gray, and white dress. And I'll insert the pictures of the dresses. I still have them in inventory to this day because I just did not sell a lot of them. When I first started, I was trying to get stuff that was trendy and what I thought would sell versus what, you know, I would like or what I could sell to somebody. I was just trying to sell what was trendy, and apparently it wasn't trendy. And also I was trying to make it cheap. Like I wanted, not make it cheap, but I don't like to spend a lot of money on clothes. So if I'm gonna sell clothes, I'm not gonna make my consumers spend a lot of money on clothes. So I went and got what I thought would work. And long story short, I still have that stuff. So whenever you're choosing what products you're gonna sell, just go with what feels right. Go with what makes sense for you, what you could really stand by, what you would really wear and really sell. That's the lesson that I learned from buying those cheap little dresses. I mean, hey, they're cute and I still wear them and I've worn them before, but it's just not what my customer was looking for, from me in particular. So I still have them on my site, y'all. They're $10 if y'all want some. But I said that to say, when you are out looking for vendors, I mean, you have your options: Alibaba, Aliexpress. Like I said, I used LA Showroom, and I still use LA Showroom because they have so many vendors. And I'll link them down below so that you can check it out, but you can't get into the site unless you have a sales license. But yeah, get some vendors for your website if you're selling clothes. If you're selling anything else, then of course you're gonna have to look for suppliers for your stuff. The next thing on my list, once I decided, you know, what vendor I was gonna go with, it was really just posting. So I did like a little small setup in my room, and I put the dresses on and I took pictures of the dresses and I posted them on Instagram, and I started selling them from my Instagram. I used, what did I use? I think I used Cash App when I first started, because of course you don't have, I used Cash App when I first started because I didn't have like a, I don't know, what do you call it? I used Cash App because I didn't have like a site for people to actually buy from. It wasn't like it is now on Instagram where you can get the funding from Instagram. I just used Cash App. I mean, when I first started, I didn't go in with a lot of knowledge of what I was doing. I just saw people doing it and I was like, ooh, I want to do it. So I'm here to help you so that you don't have to go through the same things I went through. Get you a website. I got a website now. I learned my lesson. Instagram, Facebook, it was not enough. People want a website. They want to go look at your products. They want to see what you have all in one place. It just wasn't smart. I don't know what made me possess me to do it that way. But anyways, I learned my lesson from that. So now I have my established website, my EIN number, all my business stuff set up, and I'm ready to sell. I just want to do a quick recap of what we went over today, and how you can get started on your business. So the first thing is you need to establish what type of business you want to have. Do you want a sole proprietorship, or do you want an LLC, or do you want something else, corporation, partnership, some of the other ones we went over, but the most common is sole proprietorship and limited liability company. Next, your name availability. Make sure your business name is available. Go to your state's business entities names and see if that business entity is available. I will link the information for North Carolina's websites if that will help anybody that's here in North Carolina, but I don't know the process anywhere else. I live here. So yeah, I'll link that information down below if anybody's located in North Carolina and they need help finding the sites. Next is register your sole prop or your LLC. You go onto the website, register your sole proprietorship or register your LLC, and get you an EIN number so that you can then in return get you a sales license, which is next. Get your sales license. Once you get your EIN number, then you're official. You can start doing whatever you want, and it opens up the world to many possibilities. Now you can get a clothing vendor or shoe vendor or hair vendor, whatever vendor. You have a sales license. You're doing it legitimately. You're not gonna get in trouble. Number one. Next, you want to make sure you find a vendor. Find a reliable vendor. Cheap, like I said, isn't necessarily always the best. If you don't want to be known for cheap quality products, then don't use cheap vendors. When you're first starting out, it's gonna seem expensive because you're buying in smaller quantities. It's Fashion Nova, they buy their stuff in masses, so they can sell their products for a lot cheaper. When you're a small business, it's a little bit harder. Till you get to where you need to go, your products are gonna cost a little bit more. But being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, you know you gotta spend money. I mean, it's inevitable. You have to spend money. Next, set up your Instagram, set up your Facebook, set up your website. That's it. You're ready to start selling. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but I will make some more videos for you guys. There's a lot more to it than, you know, these first 6 steps that I've given you. But I will be willing to do more content. So if you guys want to comment below what you need help with, what you want to see, I am here for you. I've learned a lot in the past 2.5, almost 3 years about online selling, and I'm an open book. I know a lot of people get here on YouTube and Instagram or TikTok and mislead you and make it seem like it's easy or it just happens overnight, but it's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. I've had the most sales I've ever had in the past 4 or 5 months, and I've been doing this for 2 years. And no, it wasn't consistent in the beginning, and I'm consistent now, but I have a full-time job, so it can be a lot, and I just want to be here to help people so they don't have to go through the obstacles I went through. So yeah, comment below what you need help with, what you want to see. I will be coming out with a few more videos. Hopefully I can put up a video about how I use Shopify to set up my site, so you guys can have that information. And feel free to DM me or comment on my videos. I really love getting comments from everybody. It makes me so happy and so excited. So please comment below, let me know what you want to see, and I'll make a video for it. But thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited for you guys to join me on my journey on YouTube and for me to help anybody grow on YouTube. Thank you.